Assalamualaikum. My name is Hafsa Amir. I am group leader of Group 2. We are going to represent the topic Ancient Greek Governance Structure and Empire. My group members are
I am Mohammad Akrama.
I am Rimsharana.
I am Bisma Tariq.
I am Kayamarisha.
So our presentation started from Mycenaean Greece, which was basically the last phase of Bronze Age, which lasted from 1600 BC to 1100 BC. It was basically the first advanced and distinctive Greek civilization in which urban organization and work of art and writing system established. The governance system followed by Mycenaean civilization was basically the strict hierarchy in which the social classes were determined, and there was a ruler which is better known as Venex ruled this civilization, whose commands and duty were to maintain law and norms in the society, in the civilization. He was basically the supreme authority of governing all the bodies. He was in charge of judiciary system as well. There comes the next civilization, which was basically the Greek archaic civilization. It started uncertainly from 800 BC and ended up when Persians were ruled out from Greece. The time tenure of this civilization was from 700 BC to 480 BC. In this civilization, the advancement of arts, poetry, teachings, science occurred. This system is better known as the age in which polis or city-state concept was developed. So the following civilization, which is basically known as classical age, started with the fall of Athenian tyrants, or we can say it from the war of Persia. This basically was the height of democracy, in which democracy took place. One of the famous philosophers, Socrates, was born in this age. In this time period, it was basically known as the rise of Athens, in which they overthrown autocratic tyrants from Greek civilization, and they developed a system which is better known as democratic system, through which governance system runs. It had some specific rules in which only a person who is above 18 can join the assembly, and females and children were abounded from this time. In this time period, only male citizens can participate in governing system. There was an official law act made which says that only work that has to be done by the democratics or the ruler was the only work which have some benefits for its subjects. The following, after the classical age, the Hellenistic age started, which was the period in which the great Alexander passed away, or we can say in which the Egypt was conquered. This period was totally ruled by kingship, in which king was the supreme authority, and all the norms, traditions, and cultures were to be followed by his command and laws. Whereas, as described previously, it was totally opposite of classical age, in which democracy was established and people were elected people elected their rulers. In this time period, king's point of view was cosmopolitan, in which they tried to gather as much riches as they can from their neighboring cities or countries or state. Basically, the Hellenistic period is the period from which the basics of culture and traditions, arts and science of Greece started. Now the next topic will be presented by my following member.
The four most common system of government were monarchy, oligarchy, democracy, and tyranny. Democracy is derived from a word Greek meaning demos, which means rule by citizens. Then it is monarchy. Monarchy means rule by an individual who had inherited his role. Then it comes oligarchy, ruled by a select group of individuals. And the last is tyranny, ruled by a seized power of unconstitutional means of power. The next topic I am going to present is basically the governance structure of Greece, ancient Greece. Warfare structure in ancient Greece, along with the rise of city-states, evolved a new style of warfare that is basically hoplites phalanx warfare style. Hoplites were armored infantrymen, which are armed with shields and spears, and the phalanx was basically a formation of these soldiers with their shields locked together and spears pointed forward. Soldiers were citizens with other occupations, and warfare was basically limited in distance, season, and scale. An economic structure of ancient Greece is basically relied on imported goods and agricultural trade. Silver coin currency is used, and tax system and private systems, private banks are made.
Colonization. The ancient Greeks were sailors and explorers settling religion into Mediterranean seas. As the population growth increased, therefore the Greek people started to move away from Greek and Aegeans. Therefore, they set independent city-states that were more than 1500 colonies. So, then how the Greeks were rise and fall of their economic and governance structure. First of all, this era lasted from archaic period 800 to 500 BC to the end of antiquity 600 AD. Its rise was as permanent in the Neolithic in the north of Greek. That was due to geography, economic, and government that all allowed Greeks to begin prosperity at faster rate. Similarly, large amount of trade that help in good governance. The fall of Greeks started in 146 BC. That was mainly due to war system. As the Rome fell over the Greek, therefore they started their pressures, and Greek could not unite against them. Therefore, they began to rebel, the aristocracy and wealthy, according to our slides. Similarly, they defeat in the Battle of Corinth that lead to their main fall of the era.
The topic I'm going to present today is political structure of ancient Greece. Basically, in 1200 to 900 BC, there were no official laws in ancient Greece empire and government. If you kill someone, that person's family had the right to kill you back. So this created a lot of bloody wars and endless fights. In around 620 BC, a man named Draco made first law of ancient Greece. And he named it Draconian law, which mean unreasonable laws, because these laws are so harsh. Police in ancient Greece, the territory of Greece is basically mountainous. So as a result, ancient Greece consisted of many small city-states with its own identities, regionalism and regional conflicts, and it was basically a prominent feature of ancient Greece. Ancient Greek courts were cheap, and they were basically run out by lay peoples.
I am going to present the topic social structure of the Greek civilization. In the Greek civilization, the society was mainly divided into the four classes: upper class, middle class, lower class, and the slavery class. In the upper class were considered those who were native of the Greek or the Athens. They were from the ethnic background. They were both their parents were from the Athens, so they were considered as the superior class of the society, and they were usually dealing with the military related and the politics related issues. Second comes the middle class. The middle class was mostly consist of the foreigners, those who were not from the ethnic background. They were considered as the traders, and mostly the trades and the communication was the main focus on which the middle class was emphasizing. Then there comes the lower class. Lower class was considered as just above the slavery class, or those who were just got independence from their lords. So they were not considered as proper slave, but at the same time they were not from any upper class or middle class. Then there comes the slaves, the lowermost category of the Greek civilization, in which these people were considered as the lowest class in the society. They were usually the slaves of the natives and the natives Greeks and the middle and the lower class.
From the above statement, it can be established that this civilization is better known for developing democracy, which we can say was the summit and peak movement of developing of democracy. It further invented Western philosophy and Western culture, which are still practiced in our current day-to-day life, followed by realistic arts and tragedies and comedies. We can see the Olympic Games, which is also a part of the legacy of Greek civilization, and the most common law, which is still followed by them, is the model set up by Roman republicans. From all the above observations, we can clearly conclude that the fall of Greek Empire was basically the cause, which we can see the conflicts in between the societies and civilization, which made Roman Empire, which gave Roman Empire a stronghold over them, and they took control of Greek civilization, where it ended up all.